You abusia me mo bibia kwa ba me gidi se nyina ye ho ye ni die mu a ene de di kan a wo ba me show so a unya ba so abomodin a na eja won subscribe ya abomodin na subscribe na follow why ene die mu a if ene the first day a wo ba so a abomodin a channel me hairstyle and person me and say mo se me nya puli high so me nya ne anyway yes, welcome to Dr.REN. Yes, very say hi, okay. Anyway, mama mo bibia kwaba. Yedi nkomo ache. Me ba so ache, yedi nkomo ache. Na ene enkomo bebre wo ho. Mama ye na menhye me che no nyesa. Yes, I say anyway, that's good. Na de atia ne se enkomo bebre wo ho. Na enkomo na wo ho na se me nko a me no mentimi nko a enni ese mene Ghana fo mebusuafo mene mu nyina na yede edi sa nkomo no na de tie ne se ene mene wo kase de eye ensem bebre akoso ensem akoso doso ensem akoso wo Ghana no doso pa na am se de di mu akotene eye owura Ken Ofori-Atta still no ombedu Ghana na ebusuafo se yehwe na eye Ken Ofori-Atta ho sensem no president ene eye Ghana abedwakufo no yetwem yam forget it your petition eye a friend saying me no ka say the omuso mo petition eye Interpol ewo eye amanone na the Ken Ofori-Atta ebusua na ka nyina na say Ken Ofori-Atta nyu obi a oye okromfo Ken Ofori-Atta nyu obi a oye nipa bonini ti eden na ye kase ye kwakochi no. Anyway, be concept nim, but before then, no, mamema eye Zigma Akwaba. I mean, chia minia eye William Carbon so ewa ha. Mema mo Akwaba. And common topic, no. Me see nursing strike. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, Ken Ofori-Atta, Sam George on time with Dr.REN. There's a sanko fui and painful in whom common ye baba bidi. Me be do home common because we ye my Ghana for and maybe a chemu, a be more why the Juma share womansa. Ebi mu also a afei de adwuma hye wo nsa se omonhwe no mototo no yamayi enenti nkomo a kese a meni o me nyina de ye ba be de ye ba be di now but before that yenkosa nkomo we because I think say is one of the important nkomo a me pese yedi ene say owura Kojo Oppong Nkrumah ese ene the way a enema ekono osusu se aban a wote so yi sa aban so oba no baji teachings and chere ewo mo ho according to Kojo Oppong Nkrumah no MPP aban a omo the best to teach NDC when it comes to governance eti the Kojo Oppong Nkrumah bi na no a wo kan nyina ne se NDC for eni mamemu obu na amemu no omubu no efre ne se enkoyi enenti ombo modin na omonya den omombra ne nchen na MPP for enya den enkyere omo efre ne se amemu ebu. Now question am ibusa me hu say Kojo Oppong Nkrumah ade no nka aban dada ne ho ana MPP aban na Kojo Oppong Nkrumah no nka ho ana na se Kojo Oppong Nkrumah ka aban dada ne ho a ade no wo ka sansem we eden nti na ama Kojo Oppong Nkrumah kasa say Omon Ferio MPP for as usual they don't feel ashamed ti omo kasa the way a MPP egu omo ho animu ase any 8 years amemu fun a omo buye no one would have thought to say enka omekwa akotene fi no maka oma no atum. But here is Kojo Oppong Nkrumah telling Ghanaians say MPP and enim amemu obu na NDC ye to abama wo mu nansen yi a omenya be 5 months eko 6 months yi omuni mamemu obu according to Kojo Oppong Nkrumah la ayi la hey asa assembly are critical assembly are critical Kojo Oppong Nkrumah kyerɛ sɛ MPP amamu omudu ye ne papa sin NDC amamu. That is what Kojo Oppong Nkrumah is saying. Now my question I busa Kojo Oppong Nkrumah say, a mirror MPP baba ebono. Let's talk facts here. For the cedi currency no against the international currencies to set dollar and pound sterling. When John Mahama was leaving office, on my end, $1 na around 3 cedis, 80 pesos. Some are saying 4 cedis. Give and take, let's say 4 cedis. During that time, when the MPP were in opposition, at the time, and Kufuor, the opposition leader, ran his mouth that if given the chance, he would do better things. Ama you see the news against the dollar. What did we see? We saw a political party who came to power. And then what? They messed up everything. And today, one of the members say, Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, and they ono kase. O bien anu akase. MPP ni mamemu MPP ni mamemu busin NDC. I think say he should say that to the Marines. Maybe he should say that to the dogs. Maybe he should go into the forest, look for some animals and have some conversation with them. Because the Ghanaian youth is not ready for such nonsensical conversation. Conversation that is baseless. When I say, yeah, kasakasa into babontin bekebi. When in actual sense, they took the dollar 1 cedi against a year, a friend is 4 cedis against $1. What could read 17 cedis against $1, which means that at the time, there's a $1 John Mahama time. You only need 4 cedis, John Mahama 1.1, 1.0. The first time, no, you only need 4 cedis to buy $1. But MPP out a year could go upon commerce omuni mamemu buno. Omu jayen dollar no so peba kopiata. I just also cedis ne maku 17 as I what $1. Now this guy is saying he says amemu no omuni mubu. Hey. And he says amemu we there kasa mon koso anka Ghana nyina ebe wu. Ke be ton Ghana ma Elon Musk. Ke be say friend Mr. Elon Musk. Na friend ba Elon Musk. Na ngoma ba no ma beto Ghana ko. Because I move fun way there. A GMPP fu any super and a be ya move papa. A GMPP fu any super. So clearly, Mr. Su said the way one more time Ghana sika just one more to the pasa. The COVID inflation in 54%. Kufuor do betu inflation around 13 to 15%. And we know they call 54% it could do maybe. And you are saying that such people and they know how we go memo. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah perhaps maybe needs to take his medicine. He should not be missing his medication. I think it's very important because maybe perhaps he's losing his mind. Ladies and gentlemen, Kojo Oppong Nkrumah the enemy the Besiha. Men person dwell too much upon it. Many of these MPP members have become mad. They can't reason what you say because of how the huge loss our losing, this election affect our brain. So it's difficult for them to reason. And think this area, such utterances will not come from a gentleman. Some people even in MPP think he has an opportunity to become the flag bearer of the MPP one day and then become a president eventually. Tofiakwa. Say it, Tofiakwa. God forbid. What you say? Woma yes san. What you say? What you say? Anyway, so Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, let us just put it somewhere in the bin, na yanko tuntuni baby. Now yanko a year a friend is saying, Ken Ofori-Atta. Yakoda sorry, I see Ken Ofori-Atta busiafo so my release press conference, press statement, ting. Edi asem na wo mu a about 4 or 5 pages of one press statement. Sel, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well. One press statement, no? George, medium accord here. On press statement, no? Ting. Edi ane wo mu a, omo say. Ekwen a OSPD omo enua, omo busuani Ken Ofori-Atta afaso. Ensani. Ito omo ka kire OSP say intentemwa. Declare woman nua omo wo fam papa omo busua panyini Ken Ofori-Atta as wanted, no? OSP enye ntem no wombra bontin na on rescind this decision. This is what Ken Ofori-Atta's family eka. And I am very surprised and very shocked to hear, to read statements from Ken Ofori-Atta's family. I was thinking, as good family members, they will advise their brother and tell the brother, quickly come to Ghana. Because so try a bear on it. We are there, they are obey. What do you say? So try a bear on it. You're gene precoso, you're gene temso. Eboa, a help one casa. Because what in temwa, you feel the pain, and later on you will not feel the pain anymore. Into the family members trying to tell OSP to speak to the OSP, they should rather speak to their brother Ken Ofori-Atta. Say quickly, Ken Bomodiana Bra, come and face the justices of the good country that you once upon a time was a minister of finance for about 8 years or so. 80 Ken Ofori-Atta, I'm giving you advice. Rather than advising the OSP, you better advise your own brother. Because I know moment ebeboa. Because Mrs. said, Sebio, more advice, more brand one, ebeboa Ghana for enyina. Because Ghana for ye share ni say, more brand ebeba. Na eja. Said the Chrokonkuna can or Romans 14:12. No? When you read Romans 14:12, and I'm sure one of us, either Zigma or Cell A or George Blay Aka, will put the verse in the comment section. And it simply talks about accountability. So I am saying to Ken Ofori-Atta's family that you better advise your brother to come and account for his stewardship. After all, he's a man that always quotes the Bible, always read from the Bible, and always do not shy away from his Christianity. So if he is a man who is a Christian and doesn't shy away from his Christianity, why is he running away from accountability? Remember, Ghanaians were paying him for his service. And today, the same Ghanaian is saying that Ken Ofori-Atta, come and account for what we paid you for. What is wrong about it? So please, family members, I know. If you people have faith and good faith and believe in Ken Ofori-Atta, so when you're Bonibia, you should not be afraid. You should not, get involved in all these diabolical tactics by these family members. You should not be getting involved in all these diabolical tactics. You understand me? The best thing is that advise your brother, Ken Ofori-Atta, to come and face judgment. You understand me? So that we can move on, because the country does not belong to Ken Ofori-Atta and his family members. What do you say? It is for all of us. We are all involved in building Ghana. And so if we give you an opportunity to serve and your time come, we expect you to account for your stewardship. What do you say? Tiboni bianim, Timuntu Ken Ofori-Atta for Wambra. No facing the judgment. What you say? Or banner judgment in the he goes back to the United States of America or any part of the world that he wants to go. But our banners with this can we sika send the SML deals, send the cathedral deals, send the PDS deal, a year the 3-line Manila, I just said Sikadie, the NLA, National Lottery, a year friend is authority, Sikadie Pasa. And it is really one of the reasons why the president, now President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, described the MPP governance led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as a crime scene. And indeed, it was even more than a crime scene. Because what Ghanaians witnessed, we witnessed, a friend is saying, a governance full of nepotism, a governance full of incompetence, a governance that was full of corruption, a governance that was full of great loot and share, a governance that they looted Ghana's money as if God was coming tomorrow. They stole from the very, very poor Ghanaian that they were supposed to come and give hope and create a fantastic and enabling opportunity for them also to thrive. But these people came and they promised to protect the public purse. And you know what they did to the public purse? They stole the public purse. These are thieves. And it is good that we call them by their names without shying away. These are people who have stolen the very destiny of that poor Ghanaian child that comes from Kikam, that poor Ghanaian child that comes from Nandoli Kaliu or Bontibo or Chelenga, or that Ghanaian that comes all the way from Aplawu. So truly, my brothers and sisters, we should not, try and dilly-dally and try and, crocro this particular family of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta, who claim to fame was through corruption, was through jandam, was through deceit, was through lies that they peddled against many former presidents like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, General Kutu Champon, and of course, John Dramani Mahama 1.0. So clearly, ladies and gentlemen, accountability must work. We must demand accountability. And if you know that you are somebody who do not want to account for your stewardship, then you have no business getting closer to the governance of our great nation. Because if you get closer to the governance of our great nation, we will question you and we'll ask you what you are saying. Greetings to my brother Kofi. He says, "Hi, my Santa brother. I greet you special. I also greet you, my dear brother. Abuna, I welcome you in peace." Now, so clearly, Ken Ofori-Atta, come home, come and face judgment. And it will be good for you, for our motherland Ghana. Now, Ian called the other conversation, and that one is also about my brother Sam George. Yes, Sam George, we all know. Most of us, or most of the Ghanaians that got some of their training from Nigeria, most of them are very bold, very eloquent, and very, they speak their mind. Sam George is one of the people, one of our nationals who speaks his mind, irrespective of his where he stands. He will speak his mind and, drum home his voice in and his points across clearly without fear or without favor. Now, the question here is this. Emmanuel says he's watching me from North London. Welcome, my brother. Abinai says, please, NSS case, have you heard anything about it? Nana B, colleagues, any update? That lady, I am told that the National Intelligence Bureau, called her for some questioning. But according to them, she's not feeling well. So she's somehow, some way, I wouldn't say under house arrest, but she's being monitored closely because she needs to come and answer some questions so that there are some people that are involved, so that those other people like the Nanabis and co will be picked up as I speak to you today. What I know is that majority of the people that are associated with this particular NSS case, most of them have been invited by the NIB, the National Intelligence Bureau, Some of them are going, some of them are at NIB, you know, place that, you know, they are sleeping very beautifully, Otiasi, and enjoying the sweet weather at the NIB, Otiasi. Some of them are in the NIB cells. Some of them are also allowed to go home and come back and face questioning, depending on how the gravity of the case, you know, what the role that you have played. So the NIB case is ongoing. And tomorrow, God willing, the Attorney General will give us some information. And remember, tomorrow is Friday, the 13th of June. And you know, Friday the 13th, according to the Americans, they don't like the date, but some say it's good, some say it's bad. So Friday the 13th, we'll have the Attorney General breaking, you know, some news to us on most of these oral cases. You see, the oral is not something that is just a 5 months operation. No, it's a long-term operation. You see, the damage that the MPP caused to the nation Ghana is so huge. It's so huge because I know that John Mahama wanted to move from the oral, which is Operation Recover All Loot, to Operation Prevent All Loot, which is OPAL. So we'll move from oral to OPAL. OPAL. So oral is still ongoing. You understand me? Because the magnitude and the damage that MPP are buying now, a year, Ghana, for my Ghana, no. I see a 2 boss near you. I see a 2 boss near you. You see, I sat here and I told you guys, a lot of people are Omachi Womo NIB. You have no idea. Say, Omoka say, Ombe Babontina de Biombe my breaking news. Knowing the Ghanaian, Ebefuno ye, because Obo ye. What you say? Because it will be like people will be saying, "Oh, government here, witch hunting," but we are witch. We are witch, and we have to be hunted. When you're witch, why are you afraid of hunting? What you say? Maybe two minute bay fonti. We have been called bofwa so no nka so dem wachimi bay. What you say? Enkofo bebre ni achiwo. Enkofo bebre. Ora no enkofo bebre ni achiwo. And enkofo bebre so na mo ye plead bargaining, no more patcho. Say yɛmfa wɔn bɔ ne nkyɛn wɔn na wia a wɔn wia yɛ no agyapadeɛ na wɔn wia yɛ no wɔn de ho nkrataa ba yɛwɔ nkɔfo bi wɔn de nkrataa na ba a government ɛrehwɛ punishment a even though wɔn de nkrataa ba ne sika na ba no punishment a ban no bɛyɛ dɛ ɛde bɛma wɔn ebi wɔ hɔ a nsɛsɛ nke bi ɔnkɔbɛkɔ bɛyɛ fiase bɛyɛ 15 years na aban na bɔ na wɔka 15 years no ebi a de go and say maybe 5 years 3 years here and there because yɛagye sika na wie. Abina Saji, your friend is say, or the Onesato Moja Padia so, Abina Sabo Moka, Otiasi, Eti, Abina your mana warrior, and she shayana warrior, DBA in the long term, and Obeb war my Ghana. Look, now maybe catch them say, Reverend Kusibuati, Wakoda, a friend is saying, and I be a catch it for over 3 days that. Ubi until Monsri, or be catch the Ghana for say, will took my aqua bruchri, Otiasi, and or patch or ye plead bargaining. Because you remember, now sorry, and he wants to protect the image of his church. And into protecting the image of the church, you know, nam the old child beg. Now remember, and yet China yet you are matuning are buying here, are buying on yet you watch you are matuning with here. They are buying here, are buying a face here. And yes, say, you bet you masu name woman are switching and they chew. Sikadudu no meviano so are buying the budget. What you say? Abiding on the Sabbath to a major party, and then here abiding because abiding here sika to pay nurses, abiding here sika to pay teachers, abiding here sika to run the day-to-day activities of the government. You know, the governance, you know, abiding needs money. And where is the abiding going to get the money? So abiding sika, either so borrowing, and if the abiding goes for so kwako it is you and I that will pay. So abiding kwako bora, and your minimum, your nana no betia. Sa abino ekase or risk canwa. I just say be or raise taxes. And I say be a friend is saying to a Ghana for tuono and SOG. It the abino has no other option. Now let me share this information with you. When John Dramani Mahama was in opposition, he came to London several times. One of the times, Yeshiano, with a lot of NDC sympathizers and other sympathizers and other Ghani, other people. The other one, Yeshiano, with businessmen, and it was more private. And there was also other ones that he met Ghanaians whom selected they selected the people. Fortunately, I was part of those selection. Now, those selections were people he feels who are bold to speak their mind, who are bold to correct, who are bold to direct, and who are bold to have the solution to share with the government. Now, let me tell you here, that is one of the things that Dibiame Babekacho said. The Ghanaian is a very fine person. It's just that we've not created the platform enough for Ghanaians to thrive. This particular meeting, I can boldly say, is a meeting. The brains was very, very superb. One of the brains, Anna, a year, Papanwa, brought the idea of oral, and now oral. I've told you about opal. Someone team opal, but ebeba. Opal means Operation Prevent All Loot, and no ebeba. But we have to go through the oral answer. Then we go into the prevention of what? Looters. So one of that meeting, that was when the president gave us this hint of oral. Now, the same meeting, the president gave us the hint of opal. Now, President Emayetia said, on my Ghana, so on my anymore, we need to prevent people who loot and then bring it to the foreign country. So, say prevent woman so dia. So Otimi Babeye president, his number one task for the Ghanaian is accountability. And as far as he is concerned, if he's able to get some of the amount of monies that the MPP government, it will save the nation. Now, how much are we talking about? Perhaps maybe I would name the magnitude of the amount of money we are talking here. We are talking about the amount of money from $40 to $80 billion. This is the amount of money we are talking about. So far, cases now, that is the amount of money a year. Now, can you imagine if we'd be able to even get $40 billion out of these people? What it tells you, they say, we can get money to do our roads, pay road contractors. We can get money to build hospitals. We can get money to, give it to, my friend is saying, the research teams to research, come up with fantastic ideas. We can use that money for the big push. We can use that money to also help with the 24-hour economy. We can also use some of the money to also help our energy sector. So money in the war, but how to recover the money? How to collect the money? That is where the issue in the war. That is why when I sit here, I always tell Ghanaians to support this government. Because look, the government of Akufo-Addo, the 8 years was a total mess. And that mess led to Nipa Bibri Ewuye. A lot of people died because of the mess Akufo-Addo created. I have never seen any government Ghana for directly affected Omowu seeing Akufo-Addo abai. It didn't see that. Now, Obeka said, "Oh, Dr. Ren, maybe I'm exaggerating." I'm not. And let me see if I can quickly get this information so that when you are listening, you will listen with open mind and an open heart, so that it will not sound as if said I am here and making up stories. I am not, because I don't need to tarnish anyone's image. I am here for the betterment of our dear nation, Ghana. Now, let's listen to what happened when Akufo-Addo was the president of the Republic of Ghana. And every time I get the opportunity, I don't stop playing this voice, because I don't want you to forget about it. I want you to keep it in your remembrance. And that is why when you come to Abuja, we have something we call Remembrance Day. One of the things that we have to remember is what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Ken Ofori-Atta's family, the JB Dankwa's family, when they got another opportunity to lead the nation, they disappointed us. They, through their policies, directions, many Ghanaians lost their lives. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, and as you are listening and you are enjoying the program, kindly share, subscribe to my page, and let's move on. Now let's listen to this.
Because the legitimate money that I made, I am a pensioner. And all my money, I must confess, I know I'm on the money that I saved to take care of my pension time has been taken over by the banking cleanup. So I don't have my money to support such a wonderful book. And if I tell how much that I saved for over 30 years to take care of my position now, you weep for me.
You weep for me.
And I get nervous at my age to picket at Ministry of Finance. Because the legitimate money that I made has been taken over and I'm not being paid. Meanwhile, it's gone to Parliament. Within the budget that they are paying us, they have been paid. About 800 of my people have died. Others have got stroke.
Please, are you watching? Can you hear him?
You see a lot of our people in wheelchairs. That's what the government wants us to be. That's what you want me. 800 of my people have died. That they are paying us. They have been paid. About 800 of my people have died.
This is what CEO of Karma Group Company, Dr. Ado said. About 800 of my people have died. When he was saying that, he was going through a lot of pains, a lot of disappointment, trouble, a heart that was troubled, bodies in pains. The Akufo-Addo government, a Corsair. He spoke about 800 of his colleagues dead because of the banking cleanup exercise, the domestic debt exchange program. These are the policies that Akufo-Addo are affecting Ghanaians. And that is why when I sit here, every now and then I give you this remembrance so that we don't forget. Because you see, the Ghanaian can be so comfortable. We can, fall into the comfortability of this John Dramani Mahame's governance, and then we easily forget what happened under Akufo-Addo 8 years. Let us not forget that our forefathers, some who were doing fantastic and great, people who created jobs and employed Ghanaians, died because of the bad policies, bad governance of Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta. And I will not stop saying it. What do I say? They say small acts cut down the big tree. I may be small, but I know my impact and sharing of this message. Many Ghanaians will come and hear, watch, listen, and then also take the good advice from it. Because if we make that mistake again, we'll be doomed forever. We've made a mistake the first time in 1966 when these people, through the help of the CIA, overthrew Kwame Nkrumah. And they came back again. And then now we have seen it. We've been witnesses to it. Perhaps maybe we'll forgive our forefathers because at the time now, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, so they couldn't understand the gravity of the damage that their forefathers caused. We couldn't understand because we were little, or maybe we were not even born. But with this help, share it. Tell your family, have a conversation with them. When you enjoy the message, it's just like when you go to church or when you go to mosque, or I don't know what kind of tribe that you are in, but I'm sure that whatever tribe that you are in, whatever religion that you fall under, you share the message. You share the message of your religion. If it is Islam, you share the Quran. If it is Christianity, you share the Bible. If it is traditional, the herbalist or the traditionalist, you pour libation, you discuss. Discuss it with your children. Discuss it with your friends. Discuss it with your family members. Let them know the damage these people have caused. Let them know. Because least we forget, they will come back again. In 1966, in 1967, in 1968, 69, they raped the nation. And then they brought the monies to Europe, took care of their family members, gave them the good education in the land of the foreign. And then they came back, they crept in again. And in the night when we were sleeping, they started forming associations. And they started telling us that their fathers were the big six, when in actual sense, they were even opposed to the independence of Ghana. Because when we were sleeping, they were busily doing jandam and recruiting people. And that is why I take time when I sit here to share this message. And somebody said, "Oh, Dr. Ren, the MPP is no more in power. Why are you talking about them?" To you, this is my answer. Jesus Christ died 2,000 years ago, but every Sunday, Christians go to church to listen to the preacher preach. Why? Because the preacher has to warn us about the Satan. And that is why when I sit here, I warn you about Ghana's Satan. I warn you about the political party who has done damage to our nation, so that we don't make the mistake again. So it's not just that they just left power, so we should forget everything. No. Then we will say Jesus Christ is dead and risen. Why should we still go to church? We go there to remind ourselves, to strengthen ourselves, to encourage ourselves, not to make the mistakes of yesterday. Because the least mistake we make, Satan will come and sit in our heart and manipulate us and tell us what to do. And that is what the mistake we did in 1966 after the overthrow of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And today, I don't want us to make the same mistakes again. We have to watch and pray. We have to watch, be vigilant, as we are making sure that John Mahama and his governors and his people are doing their best to develop our nation and to create the good platforms for the youth, the young girls and young boys to thrive. We will speak about this. And if anything that this government also do and is untoward, I will come here and say my peace of mind, because I'm a Ghanaian, a citizen of that matter. So let's listen briefly as this man ends his speech. And it's very, very sad. He's no more alive, he's dead.
Parliament within the budget.
It says, meanwhile, it has gone to Parliament.
That they are paying us. They have been paid. About 800 of my people have died. Others have got stroke. And when we meet, we see a lot of our people in wheelchairs. That's what the government wants us to be. That's what you want me to be. My right-hand side of my mind told me that save, continue to save towards the future. Now, I cannot even afford 1,000 cedis to buy this wonderful book. I'm the chairman, so I'm forced to buy it. How do I buy it?
So clearly, it may seem or sound funny, but it's not funny. And this is what we had to go through. Now, let's move on to the next subject about Sam George. And I know Sam George is doing a fantastic job. He's doing the best that he can. Now, we can say boldly that we have some value for money when it comes to our data, considering what the MPP ran their mouth and told Ghanaians. There is more room for improvement. This is my message to Sam George. He's doing well. There is more room for improvement. It should continue. We want to see where Ghanaians will get what? Value for money. That is what we need. We want to see a time where Ghanaians can say that, okay, if I'm purchasing 200 Ghana cedi data, it's for a month contract. We want to see that. We want to send a war Europe, send a war man send a data born Etienne, and I know, say, with a collective voice, with good work, with hard work, and making sure, say, been negotiating very well. One of the problems I Ghana, negotiation skills. We don't know how, we don't negotiate well to the betterment of our citizens. Many times they negotiate here. Ghana for no they fall short. Omunya benefit no. It is to me how we negotiate with these foreign companies, with these companies in Ghana. But Ghana will be the center to benefit what you see. And whilst he is also benefiting, the company also be a human, so also make profit. It should be a win-win situation, not a win on the side of the year. The year one more will be a company, no, and then the Ghanaian no would rather be crying. And I think that Ebanesa in try. So I'm sure say Sam George wakakan someone what they are to. First of all, he was talking about the data. Two, he's talking about pricing. And also, he's talking about infrastructure when it comes to our telecommunication. Young Tias, yes, again, they telecommunication business. Ghana, yes, and Kenya home fast. We had the Ghana Telecom, the establishment of Ghana. Kofoba, Ghana Telecom, Malaysia for. At that time, not the whole world, not the richest man was a telecommunication man. And your friend Carl Smith or some Carlos Smith or something like that. At that time, the telecommunication was a booming industry. But Kufuor, how foolish the man could not see far. And our tongue, a friend is a Ghana Telecom. Just like that. Tony, and look at today. Telecommunication is a big multi-billion industry. Can you imagine if Ghana Telecom was still available? Every village and every town, you turn the fufu. But anyway, Sam George and your people, kudos, but more room for improvement. Sam George, I don't know, kakra, but data, no. But anyway, that's already, you see 65 radio stations. And one more a year, a friend is a license to operate, no. Ya from same through the law, and NCA. But John Mahama, DBM, so say, Mr. President, why I'm afraid we are predodo. We are predodo, Mr. President. In all humility, we are predodo. To the be a to boss. What you say? To the be a to boss. Because we are sir. One really most of your ministers no take a decision be a omunya GDN to take decisions because Oko take bedroom say be take na president because decision way there. Yentwem and I yenye say. People will say so why were there no consultation and now bibisa. So wohwe eye radio stations ahodo no a egi license emra na agina so a NCA di adwuma na ma wo ho kwan Gabi asare ocheda kun asasi radio no mame kan kire mo media bisusu say sen MPP we ni yan konkon kutua MPP no odeka October MPP lusu yan ono dreamy kasa omun konkotu etua canon tentem senia o kire bi no NDC amemu ni ba no mba ba hwehwe mu nsemu a they will not fall short to the glory of Ghanaians. Sen ka MPP na nkomu wi ni yan kom break it and konkon kutua sanam susu. Gomo D40. So Mr. President, to be a relax kakra. Na Sam George ni NCA no omunyo omadwuma ka we ka onya abotre ma omo ana ka bia omutine mu a be 1 week bimpo na we say Father's Day bonanza mpo eniti eja yembo modiana yentu ebo asimom ne yembo bosome ba kwa e beti ase to be a ye relax here say decisions be owa I am Mr. President to boss eniti we be country President John Mahama ya abotre because all of a sudden now communicate babontin now president say a decision by Sam George and the NCA we should pardon them and that is too quick president not tree is our predodo so now pray a pounds ne free 21 cedis abedu 13 cedis so now what pray ama dollar no a free 17 cedis abedu there to be a relaxing just relax so now mama feel no more taste so afebedu afedi say yenkokutua 1 Ghana cedi enkan aya nya abotre we feel him but to boss edwan de no one we know how you are in you are in a real hurry. They won't can you, but we can see your actions that you are doing the work to ensure say Ghana for better. Yenim yehunu and yate and yehu and yedi hu dance. But they told them be relax for some of your ministers. Yes, sir. When my ministers need to take some decisions, sir. You know, they won't even taking a sir or dinner so would take because only so I could take a decision. And President Dear Beckham, Dear President Bayer. What you say? What you say? Now, Yanko a year a friend is saying the other story many people say me no check. And I think say there are too many guns in the system of Ghana. There are too many guns. And these guns is because MPP Amemuno Mobile. They allow these guns to be in the system for some reasons. And I know I don't want to go into it too much. The Boko issue in the northern part is one of the reasons. So a lot of young guys, they have guns in their system. They have guns in their homes, guns in their cars. They act and behave as if Ghana is like a movie scene. What they watch on American movies, no, then no, they are back, like as if we say, oh, you know, Ghana is not a country with rules, laws, and regulations. Maka, and I'll say it again, and I'm aware. John Mahama Bayo might employ 4,000 national security personnel across the nation. 4,000. I think it says so. I think it said they should employ more national security personnel. It's 4,000 is so. I think it said we can employ about 10,000 national security personnel. People who can give us quick information in our communities, in our, you know, villages, in the towns, in the cities. It will say Abranti be Ababa will behave or act, because that is how we build a nation. We have to be concerned about our neighbors. We have to be concerned about our community. Who is holding which gun? Who is doing what? Who is shouting the loudest? Why is he shouting? Who is doing this? Who is the boxer? Who is the fighter? Who is the ragamuffin rascal? Who is the? We have to know everybody that lives in our community. Because it's important. If we don't know, people will go around killing innocent people. And governance must be proactive, not reactive. Governance is about being proactive. When you are always being reactive, then what is your use? You have to see it, hear it, pick the information. That is why national securities have the Omugana Gota. You have, you know, appliances and gadgets that pick information. Look, when a friend is Professor Evans Atameo's air president, my uncle, who was very close to him, and as a matter of fact, he was very, very close to him. You understand me? Look, you used to have one particular gadget. In Zambia, Ekoso, in the whole of Greater Accra, in the whole of Greater Accra, any part of Greater Accra you will stand, whether if you are at the beach, they know how to set pepper, he will pick information. So when people are having conversations about quickly the police will, they get to know about these things. The national security, they get to know about these things. So I think we should be proactive. We should ensure that people who do not have license should not use gun. We saw what happened to Kofi Adama, and I came here, I sat here, and I said, and you remember why we should be more proactive, give people the needed education. Because you see, society, you know, where to go. If we don't give them that particular lead, show them, teach them, guide them, guard them, people will misbehave, will do whatever they like. Because you see, the human nature is such that we all want to be left alone and live how we want to live. That is how human beings think. And that is the reason why people say Africans are lawless, because in Africa, no, we have that Alpharian character and Alpharian spirit. We want to dominate. We don't want people to dominate us. That is us. Enti ekoba ne say abrofo no be dominate yen ya no obi jaye no. Now you are thinking saying obi aye de obe. And that is where I think they said the democracy and the institutions, so when it comes to the policing, the national security, the armed forces, the agencies, no, you should work together. Now, one more will create you or more to anyhow. You can even arrest them, add them to the military as snipers, give them the necessary training. You punish them. They don't use the gun. Atisi say Ababa will be the boyfriend a TikTok star. My boy is becoming unbecoming. Too many guns in the system. And I think the police can do a national raid. National. And I've said this before. National. What done and I do the assume that police if we are ransacking the whole community. Now soldier for the police for. Well, we live in a country where it's like Senkenya John Mahama Nebaya. Anna, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Amako Fibua, any the new IGP, any the friends and the Ghana Armed Forces. Echo Forest Bimkoye Reader, you go home for over 10,000, according to the Joy FM reporter. Any the report from the Ghana Armed Forces. And Kaminim said Ghana it meets na Kurunim. Emma Aho Fokum, Echo Shayan Forest, Eye Galamsey, Eddie Aho Fofi Burkina, and the other parts of the other parts of African countries, eba be mining na yetikrumna people don't know about it, which is bad. It tells you that the security system is getting weak and weak. What do you see? And it's also saying about us, say we are people now, we don't care. Obroni noa, Obani Nkrumah na ote say abrofo de omo di concern bibi obeka bibi anobefa for beka. Enye concern omo di o. They want to ensure say free him about our community, who behavior to say, or attitude to say. So when they are talking, they want to be sure, say anymore. But Ghana, be an the baby on fan, they don't even care. We'll free them, don't care. But once you try to be, hey, when they try to, hey, I see what baby, no, and I'm here, hey, we must start. We have to care, care about the community we live. Our vicinity, who is our friend, who is our neighbor. Oh, we know a boy. We have to teach these things in our schools, from the basic schools throughout the JSS and the SS to the university. It should be part and parcel of our life. It should be about our being. I say the kaya brabo. That is why in Kwadano it's hard for them to, do anything or misbehave anything on Minka somebody perfect. What you say? But we can follow and ensure. So these laws and rules and regulations, we will enforce them. National Cathedral. Asofufuo bi aminim monenam John Mahama kache mo Fred John Mahama emfa phone no enye se papa ne mpese obefa mo course ba mo nkomo no nyina akwa ese mo pacha wo de amankofo bi a National Cathedral na omoda board so. And here I'm talking about Apostle Opoku nyina. Look, the President John Dramani Mahama 2.0 is not going to be on the terms of the old pastor be wupewu. No. And now here, let me be honest with Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. You see, we should allow government to operate. We should allow ministers, president, we should allow them to do their job. And me my president. Osophobia we are above the law of our country. No. Se atai ye Ghana ni no ye bone ne ye china osofo ye bone ye se china. Ye nyina ye Ghana for. We are all identified by the red, gold, green with black stars in the middle. So what is so different? Say, can Ofori-Atta we are there is him protecting also for your body is him protecting but the Ghanaian no so money are treating the ordinary Ghanaian. Who is ordinary? Everybody is ordinary, and everybody is a Ghanaian. We are all citizens. Any superhuman Ghanaian and lesser human Ghanaians. We should stop these nonsensical, and some way they identify you. No. The law, they say, is the law. And the law must work, irrespective of whoever you are. Look at the damage this Ghana cathedral causes here. And I'm so surprised. A cathedral, yes. Na nipa na wada cathedral board ni so ye architect no. Edini to, oye true. Na Apostle Opoku Nkrumah, Duncan Williams, Doug Heward Mills, Mensa Otabil, they all knew. And none of them had the brains and the sense to say, even with said the cathedral no crown, nipa no ye architect no crown, we did not to didn't call for to Nuntino. That is his choice. I have nothing against him. But me, if I'm a Christian, now maybe be that board or no, now maybe see them my Jesus Christ. Near see nipa no ye architect no, we didn't to fan call for to. I will resign because and my norms and my principles and my religion, a boy bra. It goes against my norms and my religion. And I cannot build a cathedral for God when the architect is a true person. No. And all these people calling themselves men of God could not resign. Shameful men of God. You are not any called men of God. Number two, you see, I'm a Christian. I always say it. I'm a Christian. I always say it. Without fear, without favor, without being shy. But you see, my Christianity is based on a solid rock, which is principle. The principle of accountability, principle of giving, principle of love. You see, let me say this. Duncan Williams is not wiser than God who created the heavens and the earth. Duncan Williams or any of the other pastors who are pleading and begging for pastors are not mother board so disika supervise say gangantuan corruption. Why do I say this? We've all heard about the second coming of Christ. The second coming of Christ, ombambe doefu, ombambe bojem, ombambe kasa obabe to party. Oni akronfo beto party no musa atun said. We know based on what the Bible teaches us that the second coming of Christ, and here I'm speaking to Christians. So if you're not a Christian, you can just exempt yourself from this message. The second coming of Christ is about accountability. So Oban to say arinate. And he will start from the very church. So the second coming of John Dramani Mama, what are you expecting? He came to ensure that he will reset the nation. Resetting the nation means that men and women who have wronged the society and wronged the system and done damage and caused problems and caused financial loss to the state, they will be reset. It's like a dominoes effect. And you are saying that, as for we are exempted because we are Christian. To hell with you, you're not a Christian. Because true Christianity talks about accountability. True Christianity would talk about the return of Jesus Christ, just as the return of Muhammad is. And the return of Muhammad is about accountability. It is Apostle Opoku Nkrumah as a chin. I only on Wakodem Dada. On the Odem Dada. Sofu Jem Fidi and Mammy Yemunu, Papa Yemunu, so Ankasa the birthday Yemunu. Sofu Jemfi no wako dem. The obession come through a trunk come efa MPP General Secretary who say obe winning MPP be winning and baton e be born 4 days or yehye hu no mhye and anto. So I'm saying that Christians must be accountable. Because you preach about accountability, you as a Christian must also be accountable. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Matisia say MPP4 ebiem omukwa kopa John Mahama Achew because of Wuntimi. Look, Wuntimi ni John Mahama. John Mahama, yanti Wuntimi because of insulting John Mahama. Let me say this, and I've said it, and let me say it again. And yes, John Mahama Wuntimi di na term di Professor Jena now pokwa Mantimi achi Wuntimi. No. Yeah, because of that. John Mahama pa di na term. Opa di Professor Jena no pokwa emfano. John Mahama te sebe. Yesu Christo udi atem kwa emfano. Nemo mufumo mrano de ya emrano ese ni udi. Inti John Mahama enyo no na akasi yankwachi Wuntimi because Wuntimi di na term. Debi Wuntimi di wo man Ghana term. Wuntimi abo man Ghana krono. Wuntimi asay wo man Ghana ejapade enu ntimi ye twena so. Send you be wo Ghana otimi ko wi obi mobile phone individual mobile phone po yetimi ne court etwena so no we di o man mu ni nyina yensu aye no ya sase a yegina so wuntimi asay no a ne ye che na say ye kopa John Mahama Achew unko court unko police station oni yedi asay. Yes, oni yedi asay. Yama wuntimi sika se kona kodua eburu wakoji loan Exim Bank $10 million eburu ni we sika no we. Yama wuntimi yesi road contract o ya baba ji ni sika yesi etue sika no 50 something million ekwan no so a emfutu kwan o se yekopa John Mahama Achew. Hey, na momo yare ana. Mo de krono no na mabo afiti mo afra brem. E de krono na womo MPP4 omu dudu ono. E de krono na tetemo ye de awomo ye de dwaremo ye de asamo bentoa. Ye de yimu yem afi pam adwene. So you can't reason. Ebe say John Mahama. We cry the answer. Ghana for him. Allow the Lord to work. Hey, now wuntimi na uka say woman minister at now a television so wo soon. Now uka say the tears will drop just like that. Many tinting gram and were fed dark and lovely. Honorable Ama Kofi Bua TV and him will soon because of the damage you caused through illegal mining, galamsey, mining in the forest. Erastus, why young videos, baby, blocking a whole river for your own greed, gold in tea, sikenti. As you can see, everywhere jow. And now them say nipa sha asase na ase odane agudie. Munim wo. One day I'll teach you about gold and talk about gold. My father was a gold miner with some Jonah. They started. After my father left the Ghana Armed Forces, omu coup 79 and later one day 81 no omu pay free no or joining Anglo Gold Ashanti. And I remember my father telling us clearly nobody should be a miner or involved in gold. One day I'll share that story. What say Ghana for us in na do no too good Libya now ne Akufo-Addo ebusuafo akɔchesika no 10% ne Akufo-Addo ne chesika obokro no sa Alistair Mateus do mrebi no ogu Ghana fo nyina nim as say Akufo-Addo e galamsey man, and it was true because we had the evidence. Say Akufo-Addo gold near mining 10% no baba gina body say Wuntimi is not involved in galamsey. But in yes nyina. We had all of these things. Timo amosi di Wuntimi animo no. Esa Ghana for hwe mu ye, ya mark mo to ho. Ye tro mu din. Ewo a friend is saying wickedness amemu because mutumo sum be a deep bone and to say and the question same nkura so question kwada ye wo mo free same nkura so ebi ni ahwene ebi ni ano yes ye be defending with team nyansa no way. So Mr. President, we dear means don't allow any fool to distract you or prevent you from embarking on the task and the journey a very resetting our nation, Ghana. We want Ghana to be reset. Ghanaians have suffered. The 8 years of Akufo-Addo was like living in hell. Nothing seemed to work. Tell me one ministry that Akufo-Addo made profit. Tell me. They mortgage our ESLA, mortgage our destiny, mortgage our future, took us back to IMF when they promised us that they were not going to IMF. When they told us there was not going to be any haircut, they broadcast to the nation, no haircut. In the end, there was haircut. So these people, they must be punished by the laws of the land. As simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know the name right. The lady says DR.REN. I love you all. Have a good day and see you soon. One love.